Hello everybody, and welcome to my Oshi No Ko, chapter number 113 review. This chapter is titled Commercial Work. So last time in Oshi No Ko, we were getting all the information on the 15-year lie, the movie that producer Kaburagi and director Gontonda are making. A few chapters ago, we got a whole chapter about how they are funding this movie. They are going around and asking for good old money and talking about how much money it takes to make these things. And last chapter, we had a bunch of things between Ruby and Gontonda, eventually building up to Gontonda wants Ruby to play the role of Ai in the upcoming film. And that's really all you need to know to get into this chapter, because we start off with Ruby doing an audition for the role of Ai. We see that here in the very beginning, she's just sort of talking, saying some stuff, and we see this is all in front of director Gontonda and Kaburagi here. And Ruby's just like, was that performance okay? And Kaburagi's like, where'd you learn to act, miss? And Ruby's just like, my agency pretty much makes me take lessons several times, and there are a lot of people around me who act, so I sort of have learned through osmosis from them. And Kaburagi's just like, alright, thank you, you can leave. And as Ruby's leaving, she's like, okay, what was going on there with all of that? And now that Kaburagi and Gontonda are just in the room, Kaburagi's just like, it would have been much easier if she couldn't act at all. You really made things complicated again, Gontonda. And Gontonda's just like, as you can see, Ruby can definitely act. We just need to polish her up a bit. If we pick her, the image of Ai will soar, and the meaning of this work. And Kaburagi's just like, damn it, that's not the point of all of this. He's like, the quality and meaning of one's works always come second. It's time for you to understand that. You don't need to give me that look now. You're an adult, so you get to, right? I don't want to say this either, but the most important thing is return the damn money we borrowed. So, that's pretty much what all of this is building up to. And as we'll see through the rest of the chapter, it's the big debate of who's going to play Ai and how everybody wants this to sort of happen, right? But I'll continue with what Kaburagi says here, and he's just like, it's necessary for us to make profit on this work. Have you forgotten that we bowed our heads and winning around asking various people for money? So they were ready to give us a cut, and they entrusted us with the money. We must have betrayed them. It's a courtesy of keeping someone else's money, you know? As you can see from the revenue data of the movies that Frill Shirani has started in the past, it's very likely we will make some profit if we use her so we can pay back all of these people who we owe money to. And he's just like, as a producer who manages the commerce side of these things, my first choice is Frill Shirani. That is non-negotiable. As we see actually a newspaper clipping of Frill here. And it's just like, a movie starring Frill Shirani this past week, in a 3-day period of the box office, has made about 6 billion USD, or 6 million. 6 billion's a lot more. But that's pretty much just building up this idea that Frill is the person that Kaburagi wants, because that is the person who will bring in money. And as we learned many chapters ago, he wants money, and while he may only say he cares about money, he also wants to make a good movie, and he feels like that she will be the one to do all of this, right? At this point, after Kaburagi goes through all of this, we cut outside the room, where we see Aqua, who is just standing outside the door very menacingly, I should say, right? And he's just here, and he's like, producer Kaburagi has got a solid point. We can only talk about the quality of the work after we see the commercial success of the project. He's the one who said, ain't show friends, it is business. But now he's also playing very innocent. Oh well, he just happens to be a big kid who can make films. Hurry up and be a grown-up, will ya? As we see here, that last part was directed at director Gontonda. And Aqua's just like, even for me, this film has to be a hit or else I'll be in trouble. Because of course we know that this film is the way to get Hikaru, his father, to sort of come out of the woodworks and be ready so Aqua can prosecute him, or however Aqua's going to get his revenge for Ai here. And we continue on with what Aqua's thinking here, and he's just like, besides, fundamentally speaking, I don't think Ruby wants to appear in this work. After all, she must still be reluctant to tell the truth about our mom herself. It'd be better to use a different actress this time, as we cut around and we go to a hotel complex where we see Frill is here. Of course, Frill is the person who is really getting a focus on this arc because they want to be in the movie, and also is pretty much one of Ruby's best friends in school. So we see that she gets a text after, of course, it looks like she just got out of the shower. Great young jump stuff, if you know what I'm saying, right? And there's a text from somebody. I don't think we know who this person is. Looking at this image, I just don't think we know, right? But we see this text is from somebody, and they're like, looks like they're having trouble casting someone for director Gontona's film, lol. And we see that Frill is here, and she's just sort of thinking about all of this. She's like, there are people in the industry who are extremely knowledgeable about insider information. There are also many people who use that as a topic of conversation to connect with talents. And we see in our text from this mysterious person, it's like, in the end, if they want to aim for a hit, they'll have to pick you. I'd expect nothing less from an actress in demand, lol, right? And we see that Frill is also thinking, sometimes when I hear from people like them, I question my own stance. As we see that she walks over to the script of the 15-year lie, just lying on like her couch or whatever. She picks it up, starts to read through it, as we cut to school the next day, where Frill goes to talk with Ruby. And she's like, hey, you want to grab some crepes on the way home? And Ruby's like, oh yeah, that sounds good, let's do it. I'll ask Minami-chan too. And Frill's just like, Ruby, I need to talk with you alone. So they get up on their way and start to walk home, as Frill's just like, I read the script for director Gontona's new film already, and Ruby's like, oh, you did? Alright. And Frill's just like, I was offered a different role at first, but I heard that since my schedule opened up, they're considering me to play the lead role instead. Looks like they're having a hard time picking the right person, though, as Ruby's just like, oh, I think they called me in for that the other day. They should just open up an audition. And Frill's just like, you don't really understand that. That is impossible. They never open an audition for a top talents. That's just Japan's show business for you. They'll only do it when they want to cast supporting characters. Not even adults can consider anyone else when they deal with people like me. Basically, there can only be one offer for the lead role in a movie or something. Morally speaking, giving two offers at the same time is not good. They can only negotiate if the next candidate falls through. But people like me who get a lot of offers for leading roles get to choose which role we want to do. I'm the interviewer. It's extremely rude to ask me, a very famous talent, for an audition like this. That's what both the production side and the talent agency are thinking. Even though that's not the case, we want to be selected based on our abilities, and not because of our connections, or even our name recognitions too. And at this point, this sort of part of Frill's speech is over, as Ruby's just like, even the top stars have problems, huh? And Frill's just like, yes, I'm always worried about it, and I suffer a lot from it. Our job is to make good works, but sometimes the quality of our work deteriorates because of us. And she continues, actors should be selected based on their abilities. Don't you think so? As we see Ruby sort of have a flashback to Kana, who was reading a script at some point in the series, and she's like, yeah, she wanted to get chosen for that role because of her acting ability. And Ruby's just like, yeah, I agree with that very much. Frill's just like, right? She's like, let's do it then. And Ruby's like, what are you talking about? Didn't you say it was impossible? The grown-ups can't consider both of us at the same time. We're just like, that's right, they can't. We can't just do it ourselves. And Ruby's just like, what do you mean? And Frill's just like, let's fight it out and see who wins. The loser must decline the offer. If we do that, we can pick the winner through the process of elimination. We'll call it interpersonal audition. As Ruby's just like, what? Can we do that without permission? And Frill's just like, no, but let's do it anyway. I've already gotten okay from her already. As Ruby's like, her? As we see Frill say, the other candidate, Akane Kurakawa. As we get an image of Akane here, who is lounging on a desk or a table or something, right? And she is looking at a mug which has a bunch of coins stacked on it, a wine glass, and more coins balanced on the other side of the wine glass. It is one of the stupidest and funniest things I've seen from manga in a really long time. Just the way Akane sort of has this here in a blank stare she has on it. You've probably seen this if you clicked on the thumbnail of this video. This is almost certainly what I'm going to use because it's so outlandish and oh my gosh, this is so stupid, right? But that is the end of the chapter. Now, I think this chapter has a lot of good to it, right? We're getting more on the idea that Ruby is being maybe cast for the lead role in the movie, and we're sort of seeing that as time goes on. We get a little insight from Aqua being like, I'm sure that Ruby probably doesn't want to do this, but now that Ruby's sort of in this competition with Frill and Akane, she's almost certainly going to want to try her hardest to end up beating these other two out. Frill's speech here is very interesting, and it's very good, and it's really one of the first times we've seen Frill really do much as a character. I really like her idea of, I want to be judged off my acting ability, not my name recognition. But I may not get as many roles if I just go off my acting ability, not my name recognition. So it's like a shallow slope here. Again, it's also nice that we are finally getting confirmation that Akane is being looked into the lead of this movie, as we saw a little while ago in that, last few pages of the chapter was here's who's playing what in the movie, and yada, yada, yada. So, it's sort of nice that we're actually sort of seeing that more as this time goes on, that we have 3 characters who are the main focuses of the lead of this movie, I guess. Yeah, that'd be the term. And it's just really nice to see all of them coming together. Good chapter, and of course, oh my gosh, this ending with Akane is so stupid. I mean, what makes it even stupider, or funnier, I don't know, whatever you call it, maybe sadder, is that the mug that's being bounced off of is the beginning of My Love with an Idol mug, which of course is to show that Akane and Aqua are on, which is where they met, and which is where everything happened leading to what Aqua did to Akane. Of course, Akane is best girl, so she's got to get the role. Akane's going to get the role. I don't care. I don't care about Sarah too. Akane's winning this. But just overall, it's really interesting, and that's really all I have to say about it. And yeah, this chapter's really good. If you liked my insights, check out the other chapter reviews I do on the channel. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And yeah, Oshi No Ko chapter 113. What was this chapter called again? Commercial work. So that's going to be Glowplasma231 out.